What's up guys, Landon Brian with Generation Ballers here. Be sure to like this video and check out our channel for all the newest content to help take your game to the next level. What's up ballers? If you're ready to increase your shooting percentage today, be sure to check out these 7 tips that I've got in this video. Let's get into it. Alright, first tip we got today is knowing your range. And the simplest way to do this is one-handed form shooting. Basically what you do is you start here, put your arm behind your back or on your side, doesn't really matter. Then you go and you shoot a form shot. Shoot one here, shoot one at volleyball line, and continue to back up until you find your range. When you start to struggle and you have to launch it this way or you're airballing, you know your range. Not that spot, the spot right in front of it. Let's get into it. All right, next on our list, I want to talk about your guide hand. This one is going to be different for every athlete. When you're shooting, you have your dominant hand and your guide hand. Now, obviously, we don't want flicking our thumb. We don't want to be flicking with both hands. We want that ball to be just a glide right off it, just enough to guide it to the basket. So we're not having to shoot with one hand. But when it comes to this, some players have their form out here. Mine, personally, is more in. Shooting coaches like Mike Dunn, Colin Costello, Rockella, they've all got theirs in. But basically what you need to do is don't stress your shoulder. No matter where it is, if you can go out here and it doesn't feel stressed, that's okay. But if this is stressing, this needs to be fluid. It needs to be natural, right up in the air. No stress. All right, this third tip is a big one for a lot of players. Whether you're shooting with your left hand or your right hand, you have a dominant hand. Everyone's got a dominant hand. So when you're dribbling to your dominant hand, and for me that's my right hand, it's easy to go right up into what's your shooting pocket and your perfect form. Everyone's got that perfect form that sometimes they can shoot the ball, spin around, and they know it's going in. Problem is, when people are dribbling with their offhand, players will go and they'll bring their dominant hand and their shooting hand to the ball and either go from there and try and adjust in the air, or they'll try and go from here and bring it over, and instead of it being 1-2 up, it's 1-2 up, and it doesn't look good. So to correct this, when you take a dribble with your opposite hand, let's say you're driving baseline and you decide you're gonna pull up. Instead of bringing the ball over, take a dribble and bring the ball to your dominant hand. Notice right here, if I'm dribbling, notice where I pick it up and where I want it. So if I'm dribbling, bring it over and go up for the shot. It's very simple, but this right here can increase your shot by, I'd say 5% easily, just off bringing that ball to your right hand for a straight shot. All right, now that we've discussed more of the foundations of what can help fix your jump shot, this is one that's a simple tip that a lot of players they've never been taught to do it. I'm not exactly sure why, but it's called a ball dip. And it doesn't mean you're dipping the ball down here at your knees. It doesn't mean any of that. It means instead of catching the ball and going straight up into your shot, you take that ball, whether it's a 1-2 step shot or a hop step, and you dip the ball slightly, as in you catch the ball and you dip the ball slightly on your way up. When you're going down with your knees, let the ball go down with you, and that right there will add 10 feet to your shot. Without a doubt, 10 feet to your shot. And the reason we do the first drill about finding your range is because when you add this ball dip, the shot will become easier. And then you don't have to use as much muscle, as much energy to get a shot off. It'll make your shot quicker because when you come up and you have your ball dip, your release will be faster, and it all around increases your range. All right, guys, what I tell a lot of my players is to exaggerate their shot. What I mean by this is basically when they start missing 2 or 3 in a row, I tell them to exaggerate the form and exaggerate the shot. And by that, I simply mean find your roots. Find what got you to this point and why your jump shot is the way that it is. If it's broke, exaggerating is not going to help. But if you have good fundamental form, when you go into a shot, instead of shooting like that, if you miss short, if you miss right because your arm goes that way, or you miss left, exaggerate your shot and you'll find where the form's wrong. Meaning, if you go up here and you can't hold that, you can't hold it perfect, there's something wrong. Something's wrong between here through here. Something's wrong that you can't keep it straight. Figure it out, and when you're in practice, exaggerate that shot. Get a high arc on it and hold the follow through. Force yourself to hold the follow through, because what you exaggerate in practice will slightly modify in a game. You practice like you would in a game, so in a game you can afford to make slight errors, because errors happen. So exaggerate your shot. Let's get it. There's a lot of reasons to look up when you're in a basketball game. So you can pass, so you can dribble with your head up so you can see the court, when you want to pump fake and when you want to shoot. This does not cut it on a pump fake, because no one believes you're shooting. And what a lot of players, especially young players, have a problem with is when they look down when they dribble, they'll dribble, and then right about here, they'll locate the rim, giving your eye about half a second to locate the rim before taking the shot. You might as well shoot with your eyes closed. Instead, if you go from here, you pump fake with your eyes up, and you drive and keep your eyes on the rim the entire time, you're going to give yourself a better % chance to make that shot instantly, just like that, by keeping your eyes on the rim. It's the same thing we talked about with free throws. A lot of players, they take a dribble and then locate the rim on their way up. No. Keep your eye on the rim no matter where you are, even if you're dancing around, whatever, eyes on the rim, shot. Last tip I got for you guys is making sure you shoot on the way up, optimizing your form to the best of its ability. What I mean by this is especially for players who get, there are some players who get a foot, 2 feet on their jumpers when they shoot. They just jump high. If they go up, they need to shoot. Notice how I'm at my peak. When I'm at my peak, shooting the ball on the way up, not on the way down. You don't want to shoot and go up and then on the way down shoot the ball. That takes away from your range. It'll take away from your shooting percentage. It'll make the shot choppy and it'll take longer to get off. So just remember when you're shooting, if you feel you have this problem, you can video yourself and watch your release. If you go in slow motion and see that your form and you're releasing here while your knees are still bent, or if you're releasing a tad late, you can see that in the video if you video yourself sideways like this and you want that ball to release on the way up. Alright guys, if you liked that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our channel for more. We're training the next generation of ballers and we're ready to take your game to the next level.